We're delighted to have our guest here with us tonight. He comes from two parents who left incredible legacies. He has had a remarkable career on his own. Not only is he an actor, he's a musician, he writes comic books, and from what I hear, he's a heck of a nice guy. So please give a warm Screen Actors Guild welcome to Mr. Miguel Ferrer.
It's not Vigo, sorry.
But just as magnificent.
Well,
yeah. Well, thank you for being here.
Pleasure's mine, thank you.
Well, we'll see, how pleasurable it is after a while. But,
just have to see how it swings, right?
there you go. Well, let's begin at the beginning. Tell us what it was like growing up in a household with Jose Ferrer and Rosemary Clooney. Yeah, for those of you who don't know who his parents were.
It was really, really quite normal. I mean, they were just wonderful parents with very, they didn't feel that they were curing anybody's cancer with their jobs. You know what I mean? It was, when they were home, it was mom and dad and that was it. They just were very fortunate to feel that they had wonderful jobs and that was it. It was really nothing spectacular, as I recall.
They must have had a circle of friends, though, that you probably ran into a few famous people.
Yeah, but it was funny. I didn't realize who the hell any of these people were until I was about 15 or 16.
Yeah. What kinds of people would, come?
Next door, Ira Gershwin lived next door. And
he's pretty good.
He did well.
Yeah.
But he would, if his lamp was lit, it was the sign for, okay, we're having a party, let's go. And so my dad would always run out after dinner and say, is this lit? It's on, Rosie, come on, let's go. And there would be, Humphrey Bogart or, Oscar Levant playing piano and Judy Garland singing, or, it was one of those, and back then, everyone sort of really lived in that neighborhood, as opposed to now. So it was weird. It was I didn't find out till much later that sort of the nice lady who wanted all the drapes closed was Lady Day, or who any of these people were that So much later, I sort of realized the significance of my parents' friends, but then they were just, kind of old people who were kind of a drag to be around.
Now, were you born here in Los Angeles or New York? Or
I was born in Los Angeles, then we lived in New York till I was about 7 or 8, moved back here after that.
Do you remember much from the New York Times?
I love New York, yeah.
Even as a kid, you were,
yeah. It was fantastic. We lived in the Dakota, where John Lennon was killed. We had 10 rooms on the park for $700 a month.
Oh my God.
And my dad in 1964, the building went co-op and they said, well, do you want to buy it? It's going to be 70 grand. And his lawyer said, you're never going to see that money again. You're out of your mind.
Yeah, the lawyers.
Another bonehead move.
Yeah, well, yeah. Did you ever go to the theater? When your father was on stage?
All the time. Yeah.
What was that like?
It was. I admired my dad so much. From being a small kid, I just thought he had the greatest job in the world. That he could go there and do this, and people loved him, and he got to sword fight and do all this cool shit. It was just. I just thought it was the greatest job in the world.
Yeah. Did he ever teach you how to sword fight?
No, he didn't.
No.
He was afraid.
Of what?
That I would turn on him someday. No, he never did.
Did you feel like you knew you wanted to be a performer back then, or was there anything calling to you at that point?
Yeah, there was something calling to me. I mean, from my earliest memories. I really came to acting fairly late in life. I didn't start till I was about 25, and I think it was really due to the fact that I was, kind of intimidated by my dad, and as great as he was, and I look a bit like him and all that stuff, and it's just like, I didn't have the confidence in myself or a clear enough sense of really who I was until my mid-20s to have the courage to say, okay, I want to do what he does. You know, so it kept me away from it for a long time.
Now you were a musician before you were an actor, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So mom's influence kind of won over in the early years?
But see, my dad was a wonderful musician. My dad was a great musician, a really great pianist. Yeah. So I think, you know, they were both extraordinary. So yeah, my influence really came from both of them. My dad wanted me to play piano. I unfortunately didn't have the intelligence or skill, so I chose drums. What do you call a guy who hangs out with musicians? A drummer, that's right. How do you know when a drummer's at your door? The knock keeps speeding up. Sorry.
Gotten all of them, haven't you? Yeah.
What's the difference between a dead snake in the middle of the road and a trombone player?
Skid marks before? No.
Snake was on his way to a gig.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough.
Sorry.
Now, back in the days of jazz, a trombonist could get a gig.
Ring a
now
ding
it's
ding,
tough.
baby. Yeah, now it's tough.
Yeah. Well, now what about your mom's career? I mean, how often were you able to see her perform? And,
All the time.
Yeah.
I used to go to recording sessions with her all the time, and I loved it. I used to, because I knew how to sit quiet. You know,
Well-behaved child.
I was always I'm just very shy and had no self-esteem whatsoever, so they'll keep you quiet. Come on. But many times, you know, the big room at Capitol with Nelson Riddle, and you know, she'd be singing with Bing Crosby, and you know, stuff like that. Those are great memories, and they used to always put me next to the drummer, and I'd sit there quiet in my chair, and I loved it. I loved being around that.
Yeah.
Who was the drummer?
Pardon?
Who was the drummer?
Oh my God, Irv Kotler, thank you, yeah. Oh, wow. That put me in the Wayback Machine. Yeah, the great Irv Kotler, that's right. You said to me, kid, you practice the mama daddy role? Yes, sir.
What was the mom and dad?
Mama daddy, mama daddy, mama daddy. They don't call it that anymore.
What do they call it?
I don't know.
Okay. Just checking. Now, I read somewhere that you were inspired to pick up the drums also from watching Little Ricky on or is that just?
That's right. I was faking sick one day, you know, staying home from school and watching I Love Lucy, which was, you know, the greatest. Yeah. And there was that, you know, little kid. And I said, well, if he can do it, I can probably do that too. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So when did you get your first trap set?
I was about 8.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and my dad gave me a great gift. He said, look, all right, you're not going to play piano. I'm disappointed. You're going to play drums. He said, that's fine. He said, but you have to take it seriously. Do not be a dilettante. As soon as you miss, you have to study. And as soon as you miss a drum lesson, then, you know, I'm taking them away. So as a result, I really actually was somewhat employable by the time I was in, you know, my late teens. So that was a great gift.
How did you, what kinds of gigs did you get early on as a drummer?
Yeah, you know, the odd rock and roll recording session. The thing I'm probably proudest of is, in terms of records that I was a part of, Keith Moon decided to make a solo album in the early 70s. Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend had both made solo albums. So he said, well, of course, I must make a solo album. The problem was he didn't take into account the fact that he couldn't sing at all. He should have thought that through. But,
well,
but he said, I want to play most of it. He said, Ringo wants to play in one, and I want to find a kid that nobody's ever heard of. So I had been working with this producer who was the initial producer on the thing, and he said, well, here's some tapes of this kid that I think is pretty good. I was 19. And they called me on a Sunday, and I hung up on the guy 3 times, saying, you know, you're full of shit. I mean, Keith Moon, no.
Right, yeah.
But it turned out to be true, and that was really extraordinary.
And how old were you when you got
I was 19.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So were you like intimidated to
Yeah.
be around Keith Moon?
Yeah.
For God's- yeah.
It was Keith Moon and Klaus Vormann on
Oh,
bass,
Lord.
and Nicky Hopkins on piano, and a girl band from the time called Fanny singing backup, and John Sebastian playing rhythm guitar. I mean, it was just, stars, all the stars in the big room at the record plant, and it was just really,
Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Good time to quit.
Well, but you went on to play with some other great
did, yeah,
people.
yeah,
Who else
yeah.
did you play with?
Well, the last sort of touring gig that I had was I played with Bing Crosby for the last year and a half of his life. And when he died, we played the London Palladium twice,
Oh my God.
all over the world. It was really, really something. Swinging with Bing, it was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when he died, that's when I, really decided to sort of explore this other aspect that I really had wanted to do for so long. I moved back to LA and found the best acting teacher I could and started studying, and
Who was that? Who was your teacher?
Kitselis. Yeah, I was with him for about 4.5 years, and that was when he was in class every night,
Right.
and 40 people
Actually, they're in his classes. That
every night.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That is
40
amazing.
people, so you could get up all you wanted, and it
Yeah.
was really a great time to be there, and I wouldn't trade that time for anything. He was really something.
Yeah.
We've since had a few differences, but he's an amazing teacher and a gifted director.
Right. What changed in you? You said that you were, a little intimidated by your father's career and what have you. What shifted in your mind when you decided to finally pursue it?
I just think you get to a point in your life where you have a clear enough sense of really who you are, and you realize that at some point you better pull the trigger or pack it up. And I didn't want to, wake up at the age I am currently with a bunch of regrets, thinking, why didn't I try to do that? Why didn't I really follow that dream? And so the sort of fear of that eventuality outweighed my insecurities, and I sort of jumped in.
Yeah, yeah. What did you learn about your natural abilities as an actor in those classes with Milton, and what did you feel like you had to overcome in order to really develop into the actor you are?
Well, Milton's approach, I think, is so straightforward. It's not terribly methody, and forgive me for those of you guys who were raised in that or trained in that tradition. I was not, It's kind of take the given realities of the play and put yourself in the position and go for it. We didn't spend a lot of time figuring out what flavor ice cream my character liked when he was 4. If I'm thinking about that, I just, my limited mental capacity, I can't be thinking about what I'm supposed to be thinking about. So it was a very sort of straightforward director's approach to acting, which really resonated with me. And I just really appreciated his approach to the whole thing.
Yeah. What did you find most challenging about acting as you first got into it? I mean, you must have had some preconceived notions having watched your father and his career and seeing other people out
I
there.
had some pretty good ideas about what was good acting and bad acting. I just didn't know which side of the fence I was going to fall on.
Yeah.
What was best for me was just to get up as often as possible, find where my strengths were, and find out the stuff that I had to work on. And really, it was one of the greatest periods of my life. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I was broke as hell. But we would be in class for 4 hours, and then a bunch of us would get together at somebody's house and talk all night. I mean, it was really an extraordinary time.
Yeah. There's a question here from one of the members, Melissa Padron asks, do you feel having had Jose Ferrer and Rosemary Clooney as parents helped or hindered your chances of succeeding in movies and or music?
Certainly didn't help. Truly.
But see, half the people out here are going, oh God, I wish I had a family
but
member.
the fact of the matter is, by the time that I decided to be an actor, my father's career was mostly over. And he was looking for a job as badly as I was, as sad as that is. I mean, but it's just the fact of the matter. And so it helped not at all. Right. And it sometimes, I'd go into an office and someone would have the attitude of, okay, kid of famous guy, show me something. Right. And that's okay, and that's fine. That was fine. Because the assumption is, here's a guy who could figure out nothing else to do with his life, so by default, it's like, okay, time to be famous, so there was a little bit of that. I mean, listen, I've worked really hard and clawed my way to the middle.
Do you feel like there was ever a time where maybe a door was open to you because your last name was Ferrer, just maybe out of curiosity or something? Of saying,
I don't think so.
No, not at all.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's my story and I'm sticking to
Okay,
it.
good. You're okay then. Okay. Then. So did you ever talk about acting with your father?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kinds of advice or critiques would he offer? I mean,
my dad was such an extraordinary guy. I mean, he was just a brainiac, first of all. He spoke 7 languages, graduated high school at 14, had to wait till he was 16 to go to Princeton because they didn't let you in before that. Just a freak. World-class fencer. He was the president of, the captain of the fencing team at Princeton. The only year they beat Yale, as he loved to tell me.
top drawer.
But he was, he was just an extraordinary, bigger-than-life guy. And he was born with without a soft palate. So when he was a child, he was born in 1912, the doctors told his parents that this child probably would never speak.
Oh my goodness.
Went on to have the most legendary voices of all time. So, I mean, all he had to do with my dad was say, "You can't do that." Yeah. Guess what? You can't do that. And he'd say, "Oh, really? Watch this." Wow. So I think the big message that he gave to me and my other brothers and sisters was, whatever you choose to do, whether it's sweeping the garage, really do it well. Yeah. And don't be a dilettante. Don't waste your time on this planet. Just do the best you can with every second that you've got. And that's the greatest, the greatest lesson that I think he gave me was just don't take things for granted and don't skate.
Right. And his name wasn't helping you, so you never had the chance to skate.
Precisely.
So, yeah. Okay.
Now,
all right. So
had I been Dean Martin's son, no.
Or Bing's son, or somebody.
Maximum ring-a-ding-ding.
All right. So you're taking classes with Milton, and now you're going to go out and try to get a career going. What was that like? I mean, what were the first steps for you, and where did you find your first opportunities?
It started in class. I mean, a bunch of us who were friends and had this camaraderie, we said, well, let's, I think you're really good, I think you're really good, let's get together and pick our best scenes and put together a showcase and pool our money and find the stand-up comic from class to MC it, and we'll get the guy to do the, and our friends would move the, and so we did, and some of us got sort of very entry-level agents out of that, and then it was a very slow building process.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember your first job? Which job earned you your SAG card?
Yeah, it wasn't my first job.
It wasn't?
No. Oh. There's a friend of mine who you guys may remember from a show called Lost in Space, Bill Mooney. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We've been friends for a long time, since I was about 15. But he was on a series in the early 70s called Sunshine that was shot at Universal, and he said, and he had written an episode, and he said, I want you to come read for this episode as a part of a drummer. And I said, I'm not an actor. Are you out of your mind? Forget it. No, absolutely not. And he said, no, I wrote it with you, thinking about how you talk, and I'll help you, and you'll read, and you'll get the part. It'll be fun. I said, absolutely. And he talked me into it. And when I got the part, I said, this is the most wonderful job. Oh my God. Yeah. They bring you a sandwich?
Yeah.
and you've got a little place where you can lie down and go night-night. And they put makeup on you and stuff. This is unbelievable. And it took me several years after that to really, but that was really pivotal, I think, in my eventual decision. It was the first glimpse. But where I got my SAG card was the first season of Magnum. And Tom Selleck and I had been in class with Milton. And my father and I played the same character 45 years apart. I played him in Flashback.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and that was my SAG card, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
About 25 years ago.
That's great, though. I mean, how was that
That
working?
was
with your
unbelievable.
dad?
I mean, we never actually worked
Well,
together.
of course not, but yeah.
yeah.
Did you watch each other's scenes? Did you
No.
kind of, no?
No.
No, not at all. No.
I was much better than he was in the episode. Though.
Yeah, well. Yeah. You went on, to.
Listen, come on.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yes, you are. Did you ever have times of thinking about wanting to do some of the roles that your father had made so famous? I mean,
Of course
Cyrano
not.
comes to mind.
No, there's no way
Yeah,
in hell. Why
know,
would I
but
do that?
Yeah,
No, first of all, I can't fence, as we've already covered.
yeah.
So Cyrano without the fencing aspect just doesn't really fly.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't do that at all.
Unless you want to redo it as like Cyrano as a pool shark, I suppose.
I'm thinking Cyrano as a drummer, But,
Listen.
No, I mean, were there ever times of just wanting to even explore what it took to, to have that emotional content of the role? I mean, forget about the fencing. The role of Cyrano is just such a wonderful role. And
It's
people
unbelievable, and
are-
he was so moving. And I mean, I've seen the movie a million times, and my dad hated that movie.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, he fought with the director every day because the director was it was 1950 and sort of the Marlon Brando school of like internalization and act small and all this. He was like saying, "No, you're too big, Joe. You're too big. You gotta bring it down, bring it down." He's like saying, "Cyrano de Bergerac is big."
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't sort of play that role. So anyway, so they fought every day.
Right.
And he kept saying, no, this is how it must be, and he was right.
Yeah.
I remember watching my dad over and over again, sometimes on stage. When he did Man of La Mancha, it was incredible. He was so moving, and he's inspired me and taught me so much that I really wouldn't ever touch anything he did. It's just,
Right.
he put that stuff away.
Yeah. So you spent a lot of time doing a lot of TV episoric kind of work, right? At first, what are some of the other shows that you worked on?
Every
Made the
TV
rounds.
show, I was the nun rapist. I was the the heroin guy, the guy in a leather jacket, the
Really
guy
raped? That's horrible.
just
nun rapist,
awful,
geez.
bad, horrible, nasty, awful people. And I remember I kept saying to my representation, "Why can't I ever be the doctor? Nobody's going to ever believe you in a suit. Come on." Stick to the leather jacket. Be happy.
Well, it's a gig.
And then, yeah, it is. And then there was a movie called RoboCop, and there was a woman named Sally Dennison who actually had produced a play that I had directed. She was the casting director. And she said, "Here, read this script. I want you to play one of the gang guys." And I read it, and I said, "Okay, that's fine. I'd be happy to do a gang guy for you, but I want to do this guy, this young executive." She goes, "Well, I never thought of you for that, but okay." And it worked out, and I was, in a suit for a few years after that. So.
Yeah. But still kind of gnarly, mean
Yeah,
kind of characters.
nasty,
huh? Yeah. Why is that? You don't seem like such a
I'm a
bad guy.
very nice guy.
Misunderstood.
I'm somebody's dad. Come on.
So you, let me see here. I wrote down a couple of the other ones here. Hill Street Blues. You were on that for?
Yeah, I was like a heroin guy.
Yeah. Cagney and Lacey.
Yeah, a snitch in the jail.
Another snitch in the jail. Yeah. Now I didn't get to see the episode of Hotel you were in. What was,
Oh my God.
what kind of derelict did you play? there?
I was actually a photographer. I don't know. Listen, in those days,
Any gig is a good
Oh,
one.
are you kidding?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything at all,
You've had some real ups and downs in your career. I mean, you've had series, that you've landed as a series regular, and then it's kind of gone back to piecemealing a career together. What sustains you through those times?
Piecemealing a career together.
He said clawed himself to the middle, didn't he? Oh, sorry. No. Well, you know what I mean. It's not. I mean, sometimes the work is really coming to you, and other times you have to scramble for it. And
To tell you the truth, I gotta say, I have been so fortunate. I've been one of the luckiest guys I know, really, since summer of '87 when RoboCop came out. I've really
been working.
fortunate enough to work steadily. I really haven't had one of those moments that I had many prior to that, where the rent's due in 3 days and you've got about a half of it.
Yeah.
Where you're saying, can I just get 1 day on anything, please?
Right.
Or let me write a comic book, or let me substitute teach this acting class that a friend of mine has for $100, anything, please. So since that time, I've just been, enormously fortunate. So, there have definitely been better projects than others. I mean, I've been in some real
Yeah, well.
bad movies.
What's the worst movie?
Deep Star 6.
Deep Star 6.
Worst movie.
What made it
And
so bad?
I was quite good in it.
Well, of course. That goes without saying.
A director I really didn't like. Really strange casting. Just a bad movie. Deliciously bad.
Yeah. How long were you on it?
I don't know, 3 months, something like that, a couple months.
Did you want to shoot yourself at some point?
No,
in it, or you
no, I was happy to be there. Come on. It was a job. It was a wonderful job.
Yeah.
But a bad
But
movie.
a bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was still happy to show up every day.
Yeah. Now, I'd heard about a film that you did once called Love Lines.
That was a bad movie. Wow.
But you had a character that, what kind of preparation did you do to become Flem? Wasn't that his name? Flem? David Jolliffe put me up to this, just so you know.
Dave Jolliffe, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Jolliffe and I played.
I want to hear about this, though.
We played partners in a band
Yeah.
called, what was it? Dragon in the Something. Horrible, like high school movie. Really bad. But we got to write and record and perform the song in the movie. And, again, it was one of those pre-RoboCop days, so I was
Right.
very happy.
Right. We had to bounce
I got to actually, my preparation involved shopping on Melrose with someone else's credit card. I had to go deep for that one, guys, deep.
Yeah. Well, talk a little bit about your experience on RoboCop. Paul Verhoeven, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's he like as a
Oh,
director?
amazing. Paul Verhoeven has made a few curious choices in the last few years. But his early movies with Rutger Hauer were incredible, and RoboCop was extraordinary. I mean, he's a maniac. He's a bit of a maniac, and there was a big screaming fight every single day. Only once did it involve me. But he was enormously passionate, and the movie came out so much better than any of us thought it would. It was a great script, really intelligent humor, and it was one of the best summers of my whole life. Yeah. Absolutely one of the best summers of my entire life in Dallas. Summer of '86, and it was a time I'll never forget.
What was the audition process like for you? I mean, when you
Sweaty.
told me about
Hard.
Okay, they didn't want you to play the role that you
The
wanted to
casting
play,
director
but
didn't think of me in those terms, but she was nice enough to say, okay. But in the meantime, they cast all the gang guys first, so it was like, okay, now, if I want to go be a gang guy, the gang guys are gone. So it was like really rolling the dice, man. I was like, oh God, am I crazy? What's going on? And they, had me back 2 or 3 times, and it was really scary.
Yeah.
I really wanted it bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was difficult, and I remember just, standing outside of that room before the last time, and it was down to the 2 of us, me and this other guy, and I just said, okay, that guy's my enemy. I'm gonna eat his liver. I'm gonna kill him. That guy's going down. And I really got to a nasty place, and just got ugly, and just said, okay, motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's over.
And that just fed the
And it
character.
worked!
Well, that fed the character. I mean, that was perfect for that guy.
Yeah.
So after RoboCop, I mean, how obviously you were getting more work because it was such a breakthrough film. But in the practical sense, how did it change for you? Did people now start sending you scripts?
No,
Did you still have to
listen,
audition?
Yeah, of course, yeah. It was the first time, I was sort of like yuppies and BMWs and power ties were like going, "I love you, man!" on the street, because that's who they wanted to be, was that guy.
Yeah, right.
So it was the first time I was sort of being recognized in public, and that was a lot of fun. But I had such shitty representation at the time. It was like, "Great news! You booked a Miami Vice, and you don't have to read." Yeehaw! Don't want the career to peak too soon. and of course, to be honest, keeping it in perspective, I was really happy to be offered a guest star in Miami Vice. It's just, I didn't capitalize on whatever heat there was. So, listen, it was fine, yeah. But, missed opportunities.
Yeah. Was there one role that you really wanted to get that it didn't come through? I mean, was there something that you remember going after?
I forget all of those.
Do you just block them right out?
I go on a big drinking binge usually after that. So just ensures the blackout.
Get that balance just right.
Get it
You don't have to
right.
worry
Get it
about
right.
Yeah. You're killing me. I got to tell you.
I'm dying here.
All right. So what's the next big step in your career after RoboCop? Where did you see the next major shift for you?
Love Lines.
Love Lines. That was it. Yeah. Blah blah baby.
I
Blah blah baby. Blah blah baby. Blah,
That's
blah,
right.
baby.
Yeah. I've been really lucky to be associated with some really great directors. David Lynch. I got to be on Twin Peaks.
Right.
That was
Right.
really fun. Thank you. And I've worked with some great guys. Revenge with Tony Scott was a flawed but pretty good movie. The Harvest is a movie that I'm really proud of. Where's Marlowe? Traffic with Soderbergh.
Yeah.
It's just this kind of. I keep trying to change it up. I just keep trying to do different things, and now I'm really lucky enough to be on a really good series. I have two small children in school, and I wanted to see them every day. So I really tried pretty hard to get on a good series that worked in the city in which my kids went to school, so I could see them. Right. And people are watching it, and it's great, and I feel really fortunate.
It's a great show. I mean,
It's a good. It's fine. It's really good.
It is.
It's
a very
pretty good
show.
TV. It's fine.
Well, listen to you.
It's not horrible.
It's okay. It's not bad.
Well,
you
you do what you can. You can't make Cries and Whispers every week on television, given the schedule and how you have to crank out 22 episodes every year. They're not all gems, but they're mostly pretty good.
Yeah. There's solid characters on there.
Yeah,
the
great
cast
actors.
works
The
so
cast
well
is
together.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And the people are really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that casting go? I mean, was that part offered to you? Did you read for it?
I still have to show up and trot my stuff out, just like all you guys do. Yeah. I mean, not always, but mostly,
a lot of the time.
and if it matters. I mean, but for instance, Traffic. I didn't meet Soderbergh until the first day on the set. I couldn't have picked the guy out of a crowd of two.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, here, Miguel, come over here. So, Steven, that little guy. Steven Soderbergh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, you just never know. You never,
Right.
because he's one of those guys who's like, okay, I know who you are. I know what you do, and here's what I want you to do, and let's have at it.
Yeah. You've really built a reputation for being an actor who can deliver on, this persona that you've really created out there. I mean, every interview that I came to, there was something where a director or a producer said, you can't go wrong with Miguel.
Well, I have pictures of those people with sheep.
Well, there you go. You see, most of us don't.
That's
think
what
to go
you do,
that way.
guys. The class,
Well,
the sense memory. No,
forget it.
pictures with sheep.
Well, Where did you get your work ethic? Is that from your parents again, or is that something you had to find for yourself? I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Listen, my parents really taught me so much simply by example. Just by the way they led their lives, and really, I think, felt so fortunate and blessed to have the jobs that they did. They had enormous gratitude in their lives. And I think when you grow up seeing that, it just sort of sets a tone, you know?
what makes a good actor?
I think, at the end of the day, it's got to be honesty and courage to be able to, confront certain aspects without worrying too much about. It drives me crazy when I just see people more concerned about being busy, being cool, as opposed to really looking at the given realities of the play and going for it. They're more concerned about their hair and how's my hair and how's my wardrobe and do I look cool standing this way, Drives me nuts.
Well, you can see those kinds of actors.
Yeah. So I think it's a lot about
time.
courage and honesty, if that makes any sense. Okay, this interview's going in the toilet. Wrap it.
No, it's not. They're riveted right now. They're very quiet. They were listening. Well, let me just ask a little bit more about your process, because you touched on it earlier, and I know some people don't like to give away their secrets.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you approach a role? What's sort of the typical way that do you just read the script several times?
Yeah, I just read the play and just say, it's like you tell yourself a story. And I try to read the material as opposed to reading the material with like, oh, how cool am I going to be in this scene? Oh, and when I get to pull the gun, how bitchin' is that going to be? You know what I mean? I try not to do that. I just try to read the story and not put myself into the story. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. To try to just get a sense of
get a sense of what's going on, as opposed to
picture.
inserting myself into the script before I need to. And then just it sounds overly simplistic, but just figure out what's going on in the play and then put yourself through it. Put yourself through it.
Just live through that experience.
Yeah.
Do you have you ever worked where you've improvised around scenes and that sort of thing? Do you like that kind of approach?
The most fun, it was so funny, actually in Traffic, I'll tell you a story about Traffic. I tried to read that script 4 different times, and I never got through it. Because it's 3 different stories, and it's Hidalgo, and it's Armando, and all these Spanish names. It's like, where am I? What's going on? What? I gave up.
Right.
I gave up, and I said, all right, Steven Soderbergh's a good director. I'm going to trust him. And my part's pretty good. Yeah. So anyway, we got there, and I said, Steven, do you want me to do this with a Spanish accent? And he said, no. He said, you have assimilated. You are as American as anyone. You have assimilated from Mexico, and that's the whole point. This is an American story. And I said, okay, the problem is the script is written in such a way that clearly the syntax is such that this guy's first language is not English. And so, yeah, I see what you mean. I said, okay, well, what do we do? He said, well, I'll tell you what, let's, you're working with Don Cheadle and Luis Guzman, these guys are really good.
Right.
Let's just read it through a couple of times, get a sense of, what we have to hit, the points that have to be made, and then let's just wing it, and you just say it however you're comfortable with, just however comes out of your mouth and see what it sounds like. So all of our scenes were improvised.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know he was going to tell a joke. I didn't know any of that stuff was going to happen. We knew the things we were going to have to hit, but outside of that, it was, there's John McEnroe in his prime across the net, and I didn't know what he's going to serve me.
Oh my goodness.
So it really kept all of us kind of like this. So that was really fun, and it really worked well for all of us. Don Cheadle is one of the most intelligent actors I've ever seen. So he was really safe not to bend the scene out of shape to sort of serve himself. He really wanted to serve the scene first, foremost, and always. Louis got a little dodgy a few times. but that was a really fun way, and it's the only time that I've ever done a movie where everything was pretty much improvised. And the next picture I did right after that was the first movie. I've done 2 now with John Sayles, but the first movie I'd done with John Sayles. And I wound up just out of habit improvising a little bit. And the other guy in the scene with me is like, no, don't do that. I was going, I can see it in his eyes. Yeah. And he'd done 3 or 4 pictures with Sayles before, and he's like, you don't do that. He takes his writing real serious. Don't do that. I'm sorry. It's in the habit. I'm sorry. But he didn't get too upset, so it was all right.
What was it about the experience of improving there that was it flying without a net? Was it the opportunity to really live in the moment and kind of live off
it was
the other
all of that.
actor,
It was all of that.
or-
But you're with there's Don Cheadle. I mean, Don Cheadle's
Yeah, he's great.
big hitter. And so it was like, okay, I better bring some game today. I better really listen and really be ready to knock it back to this guy, because otherwise I'm going to get buried.
Right.
So yes, it was enormously immediate. And after, Stephen would say, cut, we just laughed and hugged each other, because it was like, wow. Oh, and then the first day the writer was on the set. I'm sitting there with Don. He goes, hey, man, you see that guy over there? Yeah, he goes, that's the writer. I said, oh, shit. I said, I know. I said, well, what are we going to do? And so after one take that he saw, we saw him take his headphones off and just stride purposefully right towards us. And Don's like, oh, God, here comes Stephen. Here we go. And he came up and he just said, guys, whatever you're doing, you're making me look really good. Keep it up.
So you just never know.
So he said, yeah, bro. So that was fun.
That's great. What makes a good director?
Passion, obsession. The greatest directors are pretty much mostly out of their minds, whether they're nice guys and pleasant people to be around or nightmares to be around. They all. I just did Manchurian Candidate with Jonathan Demme, who's one of the nicest guys, enthusiastic, shows up to work happy, and just all the good news. And then there are guys like Paul Verhoeven or William Friedkin or people like that who are really obsessed and crazy and not really pleasant. But you can't fault their single-minded need to really make the best movie that they possibly can. I think guys who kind of walk through it are not the greatest directors. I think just an obsessive, crazy personality is sort of the common denominator. David Lynch, who's a great guy, but that's all they think about.
Yeah, for a lot of actors, especially, I know that there were times, probably the first time that I showed up on a set, I had this vision that there was going to be a director there who said, okay, so Todd, what the scene's about here, and explain it to you and kind of walk you through it. That's not very common out there, is it? I mean, do you
Especially
find
in
that?
television.
Yeah.
It's almost non-existent in television, don't you guys think? I mean, you better
have it together.
You
when
better
show
have it
up.
damn well together. You better, have some good ideas. And it's what, Kitselis used to call being director-proof.
Right.
Because a lot of sometimes, not only do guys in TV not necessarily help you, a lot of times you're getting bombs lobbed in front of your car. And you better really know what you want to do.
And again, that's the process of knowing what the play or the script is
Absolutely.
about,
Yeah.
being clear about what you're there to do. I mean, what other kinds of things can an actor do to director-proof themselves?
Yeah, I just think, just be as ready as possible. For whatever that means to, whomever.
Right, right. Could you talk a little bit about David Lynch? Because I think he's such an interesting
David
character.
Lynch is
What was
such-
it like to work on Twin Peaks?
Well, first of all, he's not, when you guys see him being all strange like that, he's not doing it for effect. He's that guy. I mean, he's hearing that very strange music in his head all the time. But there's a beautiful childlike quality to David that I just adore, and I just think he's made some of the best movies. Wild at Heart is one of my favorite movies. Blue Velvet, so many good pictures. Elephant Man, my God. But we were doing, not one of his best movies, Fire Walk with Me, the Twin Peaks movie.
Right.
And there was a scene with Kyle MacLachlan, David Bowie, David Lynch, and myself. This is my favorite David Lynch story. And right before he was going to call, roll camera, we're all sitting there in that room on the set, and he came up to me and he said, "Hey, Albert." I said, "Yeah, Dave." He goes, "That's David Bowie." I said, "Yeah, I know." And he said, "Pretty cool, huh?" I said, "It's totally cool, Dave." He said, "Okay, let's roll it."
What do you do with that? You
It's
just
so
go,
sweet.
Yeah.
It's just so dear.
yeah.
I just want to give him a hug. And then I saw him years later. He had decided to take up golf, and he knew that I belonged to this golf club, and he called me up and he said, "I hear you belong to a pretty good golf club." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'd like to come out and play 6 holes." I said, "Why do you want to play 6 holes, Dave?" Yeah. "Well, I've got something in the morning, then I have a haircut in the afternoon, and okay, well, we could just pick another day." He goes, "We could do that."
How'd he do?
Poorly. Very poorly. And I remember he had taken up smoking at like 40.
Good thing to do at 40.
And I said, "Dave, what are you doing smoking?" I said, "You used to give me shit about smoking a long time ago." He goes, "Well, I smoked in college for 2 years, then I stopped for 25 years. And I've just taken it up again." I said, "Okay." He has such a unique perspective. I've never met anyone like him, and he's a great guy.
Do you still see him from time to time?
No.
No. You're not going to get him into a foursome on the golf course there. That's not
No.
going to happen with Dave. Yeah.
He lived in a beautiful Frank Lloyd Wright house off of Outpost. And anytime a neighbor dies, he buys the house. So he now owns about 8 houses in a row. One's his photography studio, one's his music studio, one is his, office. One belongs to his wife.
So then he's going to rename the street,
probably,
Lynch
yeah,
Avenue or
yeah.
something? Yeah. Wow. What's the biggest difference for you in terms of the creative process between making a film and working on a television series? I mean, I know the time element is so different, but how does that impact
The time element really is the biggest factor. The next largest and most important thing to me is, in a movie, you get to curse.
Yeah.
I act much
Better if you
better when I am using profanity. And it's,
If you feel like using any here, it's okay because it's
what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, so it really is about the time element,
Yeah.
And doing 2 or 3 or 4 pages a day as opposed to 11 or 12.
Right, right.
Which, is just one more aspect underscoring the fact that you better come bulletproof.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't get too many do-overs,
Right. Do they keep track of that stuff?
Yeah.
Do you think, or no?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They really do.
Yeah, just.
Yeah.
And lots of times, for me, it's if I disagree with the director, I don't know if you guys have used this technique or not, but it's always worked for me. It's just absolutely right. I love that's a great idea. I'm going to watch this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it, and do exactly what you want. And I go, yes, that's what I was talking about. And it's the same thing they just had.
What's the strangest piece of direction you've ever been given or that you can recall?
Oh, now, can I be obscene?
Oh, please.
Can I really?
Yeah, yeah.
No kids in here?
No. Well,
Tony Scott. Tony Scott, in Revenge. Two things he said to me throughout the whole movie, and that was it. Just 2 pieces of direction. One was, "You're a rock star, mate. You're a fucking rock star." And I said, "Okay." The other one is, "I want you to think of hot pussy." Swear to God.
that was it.
Hot pussy.
Wow.
I said, "Okay, as opposed to..."
Begs the question, doesn't it?
Tony
Yeah,
Scott.
Yeah. Wow.
You're a rock star, and the other one, yeah.
Did he give other people similar direction, or,
I was never
or was
around.
that
He was
special
talking to
just for you?
When he was talking to Kevin Costner, I've heard rumors, but I wasn't really privy.
What?
That was the strangest direction.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Let's make sure Tony gets this tape tonight.
When you're working on a series, you have different directors all the time. I mean, how strange is that, and how does one adapt to having a different director there? I know each has their own style, but then you've got the style of the show. So how does that all work?
The way it works on this show, anyway, it seems we've sort of narrowed it down to like 3 or 4 favorite people that everybody really gets along with, and they know is going to, bring it in, on time. So it's great. When you get somebody new, you just feel them out and see what happens. And sometimes you really get along and mesh, and other times it's like, okay.
Do you ever get a director that tries to kind of change the character that you've developed through the season?
Rarely.
Yeah, they're not that foolish.
Not really. Yeah.
Okay. What kind of advice would you have to actors that are showing up as a guest star on the show? What can they do to, obviously come in and be prepared, but are there things that they should or should not do?
I don't think so. Just be a human being, just don't be a maniac. I mean,
Now you're asking me
most
impossible.
of the there was one guy. I'm not going to tell you his name, who was signed on to do, I think, 4 or 5 episodes, and he just was such a lunatic, such a scary maniac. He actually, they said, "Okay, you're not in the next 2 scenes, just relax, hang out in the trailer." And he had some script that he wrote, and he went into Jeff Katzenberg's office and said, "I want to see Jeff." He said, "Well, no." He said, "No, I'm not leaving it." Universal security got called on this guy. He got pulled down to the little Universal Hoosgow, and and 2 days later, he's standing in front of Steven Spielberg's car, waving his arms, saying, "Here's my demo tape."
Oh!
So, I mean, that's an extreme example, but most of the guest stars that we've had are just so terrific and show up prepared, and they're happy to be there, and it's a really great atmosphere. There are no prima donnas on the show at all. Everybody's really cool, so everybody gets along pretty well. Yeah. It's a real great job. I'm very fortunate to have it.
Yeah. How long did it seem to you before the cast really gelled together and came together?
It happened
Did you
pretty
feel
quick.
It? Yeah. Did you feel it at the first, readings and that kind of thing, or did you need to put it up on its feet before?
Yeah, within a few episodes, and then there were some enormous, incredible finds. Like there's a woman named Catherine Hahn. I don't know if you guys know who she is.
Yeah.
She's just incredible. Her first job ever on film was on our show.
No kidding.
Yeah. So she came out of Yale, and you know, a big theater background, but the first time that she was ever in front of a camera was on our show, and she was hired for 3 shows.
Yeah.
She was so extraordinary. She was a regular within 6 months. But I remember the first time they said, "Okay, well, you know, we're done shooting this direction. We're turning around." So like, should I leave? I mean, she was so sweet. She really was.
Yeah.
And now, of course, she's developed a cocaine problem. No.
She didn't try to stop Spielberg on the way. No.
No.
You had a love interest with her early on. In the
Oh,
show,
yeah.
Right?
And we were also boy and girlfriend on the show.
So what's it like working with Jill Hennessy? She seems to just be a solid.
Yeah, Jill's great. Jill is like, you know, she calls you dude, whether you're male or female. And just has the foulest mouth of any female I've ever heard, which I love. No, she's great. I mean, Jill's a gas.
Yeah.
Jill's a pleasure. Yeah.
What's a typical week schedule like on Crossing Jordan? I mean,
You start, you know, 6 in the morning on Monday, and probably go till about 7 or 8 at night. Start at 7 or 8 the next day. Go to 9 or 10. It's a long week. So we usually finish up Fridays at around 2 or 3 Saturday morning, and then back at it on Monday. So it's a long week.
Yeah. It's pretty consuming. I mean, it's hard to. It must be hard to see your kids. You know, I mean.
I just, you know, I get them to come to me sometimes and just hang out. So but now it's much more sort of ensemble. This last season, they really made an effort to utilize a lot more of the characters. So the lion's share of the work isn't all on Jill or all on me, or which is how it generally used to shake out. Now we're using a lot more of everybody else, so it's great.
Are you going to direct any of the episodes?
Yeah, I'm doing 2 this year.
Great.
Yeah.
Good deal. You nervous about it, or are you
No.
feeling pretty confident? Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Easy.
What are you gonna do? Fire me?
Good point. Good point. What do you wish you knew way back when that you've learned since throughout your career? Is there something that people who are starting out or earlier on in their careers, what do you wish you knew back then? Yeah, that's the one we want to know.
Don't be overjoyed when they offer you an episode of Miami Vice and not reading.
What happened on Miami Vice?
No, it was fun. It was fun. I wish I had a greater sense of understanding how to sort of capitalize on momentum.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to, God, there's a crumb, fantastic, you know? As opposed to having a bigger overview of what a career is, and when to really say, okay, this is a special time. In cyclical terms, this only happens every 8 or 9 or 10 years, if that. Time to jump on it now.
Yeah.
I didn't have a sense of that strategic aspect to a career back then. I was just so grateful to pay the rent, which is great. But I wish I had a clearer sense of an overview.
And in your experience, you can't really necessarily count on your agent to provide that.
Not in my case. At the time, no. I mean, you know.
We've heard that a lot. I mean, from a
Yeah.
lot of people saying, unless you're extraordinarily lucky and have just a terrific agent, you're
Well,
not necessarily going to
A
get
lot of
that.
agents really just, you know, want to fill in dates on a calendar.
Right.
And that is what, it's difficult to find someone with the creativity and, you know, big picture where you can have a sense of shaping a career as opposed to just, you know, earning a paycheck.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Fair enough. Can we bounce back to the something else we didn't get to talk about earlier, which is the comic books that you've authored? Where did that come from? I mean, how did you get interested in that?
Well, I was always, sort of a collector and a comic book fan, and again, Bill Mooney, who was just responsible for, I guess, every aspect of my life. I'm merely his puppet. But we're both comic book fans, and decided to write some comic book. We used to go to these conventions and stuff, and got to know some people who work for the comic book companies, and we pitched some ideas and wound up writing a few comic book things. And believe me, it really came in handy in the lean days.
Yeah. What was your favorite comic book character before you started writing? I'm sure some of your own are probably your favorite now.
Probably Batman, I guess, right?
Batman, yeah.
Gotta love Batman.
Yeah. Did you ever meet Bob Kane?
Yes.
Yeah.
I met Bob Kane, yes, before he died. I met all those guys, like Jack Kirby. This is good. Just tune out and nap. Bob Kane created Batman. There was a guy named Jerry Siegel who created Superman. There was a guy named Jack Kirby who created everybody else. And I got a chance to meet all those guys and hang out with them. And they were extraordinary. Yeah.
There was one title that I found there, Tripto the Acid Dog.
Yes. Tripto the Acid Dog.
Tell us about Tripto. I want to know about Tripto.
It's a very nasty little story.
Yeah?
Yeah. Probably my favorite thing that Mooney and I wrote together. Yeah, when you write for DC and Marvel, you have to be really careful. You have to be, PG.
Yeah.
Whereas when you write for some of the smaller publishing houses like Dark Horse, which published Tripto, you can go full hard R. I mean, yeah, we were just cursing and killing people indiscriminately. It was,
What was the premise of Tripto the Acid Dog?
it's just too depressing to even think about.
Sorry to open that wound. That was
Dead children and things, and I have kids now, and I can't even really.
Yeah. Okay.
I won't be sharing it with my family.
No. Okay. Good enough. Do you still?
Here, son, read Tripto.
But don't.
And sweet dreams.
How old are your kids now?
They're 11 and 8.
Yeah. How wonderful is it being?
Yeah, it's the best part of my life. Yeah.
Do you worry about not being around as much as you'd like to, or do you think the career actually gives you time that you wouldn't have with them, when you're down on hiatus?
It's a lot of both.
Yeah.
The long days are difficult because I don't get to, do the homework or pick them up or take them to school and all that stuff. But I'll tell you, the company that I work for has been enormously understanding and accommodating in that respect, much more so than any that I've ever seen. So they're really, they say, well, family trumps work.
Yeah.
That's sort of their motto, and so they're really great to me in that respect. But yeah, it's wonderful, and that part of my life has really put everything else into perspective. When you see children, or you have a sick kid, or something happens in that arena, you really realize that
That's what.
the little bumps in the road involving show business don't really make all that much difference. Really helped put a lot in perspective for me.
Yeah. Are they impressed by the fact their dad's on TV, or is it just like, yeah, whatever, that's my dad?
They don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, my 8-year-old last year, he was in first grade, and I remember I came home and he said, Dad, my class has guest speakers, and I was already said, you want me to come in and talk to your class? Of course I will, son. I'd be happy to. That'd be no problem. He goes, okay, Dad. But I was wondering if you could get Jerry O'Connell from Kangaroo Jack. Okay. Gotcha.
They do keep you honest, don't
So-
they? Oh, man.
So I said, Jerry, and he was unbelievable. He went in and talked to 2 classes of first graders, 60 kids. He was screaming at them, giving them money. And the kids were like going, weren't you the fat kid from Stand By Me? You call him fat! Who you calling fat? So Jerry is one of my best friends, and such a sport for having done that for my kid, you know. But yeah, it's like, sure, son, I'd be happy to speak to the class. No, Dad, I'm a kangaroo jack boy.
There's nothing like getting shut down by an 8-year-old,
Right?
You know, just,
Crack that buzz.
All right, well, let's go to some of the member questions here before we run out of time. Well, lots of stuff here about Mom and Dad. Here's one. Kelly Christopher asks, what was your greatest struggle or obstacle with your career, and how did you overcome it? Still working on that, or is it no?
Yeah, it's a process, you know. Again, I just think it was the decision to confront my insecurity, to take the step to actually find out whether or not I could do this. You know, just having the balls to say, all right, I'm gonna, suffer the ridicule of my friends and family. And there was a bit of it, not taking me seriously.
Right.
And I knew that going in, that there was going to be some of that. And I said, all right, this is more important to me than what I'm going to have to go through to possibly get there. And, it worked out nicely.
Great, thank you. Jeff Bryan asks, tell us a bit about your voiceover work. Budweiser, etc. Did you find it, or did it find you?
There's a guy out there who's copying me like a motherfucker. I do the odd movie trailer, I don't really talk about this much. I saw how much money my youngest brother was making. And I said, how about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful sort of sideline.
Now, you also did a voice for Mulan, didn't you?
Yeah, I've done a bit of animation. That's the most fun of all of it.
Yeah.
It's so easy and just fun. You go in and you don't have to put on makeup or anything. You sit there and read off a music stand and they bring you food. And
Again, with that food.
the food is important. The food is
important.
key.
It is. It absolutely is. Right next to a trailer, that food is.
Craft service is a beautiful thing. I'll tell you guys a funny story about trailers. This is a George Clooney story. He was doing Out of Sight with Soderbergh and J-Lo, the artist formerly known as Jennifer Lopez.
Yes.
And so the first day of shooting, she wouldn't come out of her trailer for rehearsal. She was very upset. And it turned out that she had had her assistant pace off the length of her trailer as compared to George's, and found her trailer to be a couple feet shorter, which really upset her. And he went up and yeah, hi, I understand there's a problem. You're upset. Trade trailers with me. It's fun. Well, no, it's just about respect, It's just about respect. It's just about me. He goes, no, trust me. I'm from Kentucky. We're trying to get out of trailers.
That's a great line.
Wasn't a lot of love between those two.
Yeah. Because puts it into perspective once again. Yes. So now your cousin George, he spent some time on your sofa or something when he couldn't get a job. Didn't I read something about that?
What
you
happened
encouraged
was,
him?
No, what happened was I was doing another very bad movie. In the early, I guess 1981 or something, and it was about horse racing. It was in Lexington, Kentucky, and he was living in Cincinnati at the time, trying to be a reporter on the local PM magazine, calling himself Timothy Clooney because he thought George was a really dorky name. And so I hadn't seen him for a couple of years, and I said, come. Hang out. And he spent the summer on my couch in the Marriott, and he wound up, the director put him in a small scene, like a poker scene or something in this movie that was never released. And the next winter he drove his old destroyed Monte Carlo out to LA, and you know, that show business thing kind of worked out for him.
Yeah, so far.
So far.
Yeah, so far. But do you guys have plans to try to work together?
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, we've done. We did a play together years ago, and he actually hired me for that the live television version of Failsafe that he did, and I wound up getting fired, not being able to do it because of a pilot commitment. They wouldn't let me out. All this bullshit. It was a drag.
Yeah.
But I love him, and I'm so proud of him, and he's a great guy, and he deserves all the success he has.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear. Let's see here. One of the more interesting characters was the burned out reporter in The Night Flyer. How much of that character is you?
That guy's a lot more cynical than I am on most days.
Most days.
Yeah, most days.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. You know, I love just being nasty.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's really liberating, and just I think makes me a much nicer guy in life.
Yeah. You know, I could see where that.
Yeah,
would-
you just get in
cathartic,
there and just be
yeah.
as nasty as possible, and it's really cool.
I was just acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. From Jeffrey John. Across your entire stage, television, and film career so far, which acting role have you enjoyed the most?
Have I enjoyed the most, or well, see, I mean, what I probably enjoyed the most had very little to do with acting. That was, you know, I did a movie called Hot Shots Part 2. And you know,
It was fun.
You just
It was
go,
funny.
you laugh your
Yeah.
ass off
Yeah.
all day long.
Yeah.
So it had very little to do with acting.
Yeah.
That was probably the most fun I've ever had. Is it the work I'm most proud of? Of course not.
Yeah. But fun.
But fun. Fun.
How was it working with, well, obviously working with Jim Abrams must have been fun, but
The most fun.
was he a wild man or was he kind of a quiet?
He's a quiet guy. He's a family guy, kind of quiet, sort of straight-laced, and
But loves those puns.
yeah, those puns keep coming. Although you haven't seen too many of those style of movies lately, have you?
No.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
So,
maybe
might be
again.
over.
Well, who knows? Yeah. I just remember a scene of you're looking at a map and there's Iraq and next to it is a hard place. Between Iraq and a hard place.
If we
That's a
only
Jim
knew
Abrams. Yeah. No
how
kidding.
hard a place that would become.
Yes. Prescient. The second part of this question here is, what else do you aspire to perform? I assume what that means is there a role you'd really like to play?
Yeah, there's something that we hope to do next spring when we're done with the 4th season of Crossing Jordan, and that's going to be, they're making a movie, Miramax is making a movie based on the life of Buddy Rich, and I'm going to play Buddy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, and Soderbergh's going to produce it. Stephen and George's company, Section 8, is going to produce it. So, you know, hopefully I won't screw that one up too bad. But no,
I don't think so.
I mean, it's Stephen was so funny in his pitch to Harvey Weinstein. He goes, "Well, no, it's great. Miguel plays drums, so instead of this, you get this." And he said, "Works for me."
There you go. There you go. Now, did you ever have the opportunity to meet Buddy Rich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I knew Buddy Rich fairly well. He was really kind to me. When I was playing drums with Crosby, we were playing, I remember Christmas of '76, we were playing the Gershwin Theater, which was then called the Uris Theater on Broadway. And the stage manager came up to me right before the show and said, "Hey man, guess who's out there?" I said, "I don't know who." He said, "Buddy Rich." I said, "Fuck you." Fuck you. Why do you tell me that?
Yeah.
Don't tell me that. Best drummer who ever lived. Don't tell me that.
Yeah.
So I got through it. Same guy after the show was over. He goes, "Hey man, guess who wants to meet you?" And he was really nice. And he said, "Hey kid, you didn't sound too bad." He said, "Yeah, I got a session with Kenton at 2 in the morning." He said, "Be there."
Whoa.
And I did, and I hung with him till like 8 in the morning. And after I moved back to LA for the years remaining to Buddy, every time he would come into LA and do Johnny Carson, which he did fairly often, he would call me up and say, "Hey kid, I'm doing Carson. I got nothing to do between the rehearsal and the show. Why don't you come down?" And he sat there in his underwear and just told stories. And there are a lot of stories about him being this crazy man, but he was nothing but really kind to me and really generous with his time and stories. And so I have very, very fond memories of him. And that's the next really exciting thing that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Now, as you prepare for something like that, are you going to try to capture sort of an impression of Buddy Rich, or is this just going to be?
I think you have to.
Yeah. When it's
you have
something
to.
that.
Yeah,
Somebody that
get a little
well-known.
flavor, He
Yeah.
was so specific. I mean, his speech patterns were so unlike anybody else's, and I'm gonna have to practice my
I was gonna
ass
say,
off.
yeah.
We're still gonna do a lot of tricks, believe me.
So sometimes they'll get this.
I will-
and
no,
other times
no.
they'll get this. Yeah. What?
When the big solo happens, they're gonna get this.
Is there a huge difference in the style in which you play drums as opposed to the way that Buddy Rich did, or
Well,
is
yeah,
it the skill level? I mean, or
Yes,
what?
I'm okay, and
Yeah.
he's the best who ever was.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So there's a big difference in the style.
I was trying to be kind.
Big ass
okay.
difference.
All right.
Yeah, it's like he's the Pope, I'm the altar boy.
Okay, I'm clear on this
Yeah.
now. Okay, thank you. Sheesh. Francesca here asks,
The lovely Francesca.
the lovely Francesca. Do you sing as well as play drums?
No, I can't sing at all.
Oh, come on. You
I
sing.
I sing with my band every so often, and I use all 3 notes in my range. I'm a horrible singer, but they let me do it every so often. Just to,
You like to sing though?
no,
No.
it's no.
Okay,
Listen,
all right.
I'm not a real singer.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it.
Well,
mean,
I guess yeah. Well,
Okay, never mind. Just checking.
I have too many
Just
friends who
asking
are
a
like
question.
real singers.
I understand.
Yeah,
No,
I can't.
yeah. Now, since we're on this, the Generators are playing. That's the name of Miguel's band.
Yes, Generators with a J.
With a J.
Why?
Why? Yeah. Why is that?
Well, I think our friend Bill Mooney, once again, wanted to do it with a J to ensure our perpetual obscurity. To make sure that there was no way you could find the CD in the bin.
Well, there you go.
Because, of course, any schmuck is going to go, Generators, let's go to the G's. That's how the word is spelled.
Right.
But no, he wants to go with a J. Just to,
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a good plan, huh? Kept it. Keeps you guys hungry.
it keeps us on the pier.
Yeah.
Like clockwork, that Santa Monica Pier, that rusty surf ranch is calling out.
Rusty Surf Ranch this Saturday night. At what time? What
Stay
time?
away from the fish tacos.
What time is
I
the
don't
gig? though?
know. What time,
David, what
Dave?
time is the gig? 9:15 Saturday night down on the pier, and you can all attend.
No, thank you, Dave.
There you go. Dave's also in the band.
I also have pictures of Dave with sheep.
Oh, who doesn't? Come on.
That's
I mean,
true.
come on.
It's not a big dream.
Okay. Let me see here.
Male sheep.
Okay, here's a good one. Noel Michaels asks, how has music influenced your theatrical career? How does music feed the acting and vice versa?
Okay, I'm gonna get serious now. And it gets all boring when I do. But to tell you the truth, I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I think, I know that having been a musician has made me a far, far, far better actor. And I suspect that that's true of someone who was a dancer, someone who was a painter. I just think that once you understand one aspect of art, how to work the dynamics of a song, you then, just by osmosis, understand the dynamics that must take place within a scene. how you don't want to be playing full out all the time. So having had that life, I know for a fact has influenced me enormously in what I do now, and I'm really grateful to have had that. And again, I suspect, I really believe that any artistic pursuit, I think that one can't help feed another and be complementary.
Do you feel that it works the other way as well? I mean, acting
Yeah.
music, does acting
Yeah.
make you a better musician now, too?
Well,
or?
I'm sorry, I didn't. Yeah, I do. I mean, years ago, I was technically a lot more proficient than I am now, but I think I'm a better musician now. I think my ideas are better.
Yeah.
I think my concept of having to serve a song is better than it used to be, and I think, again, they're complementary pursuits.
Great, thank you.
It's bullshit, but
But they're buying it,
Yeah.
so, you know, I'm just kidding. Let me see here, we had that, oh, no, wait a second. We asked who you studied with. Did you have a mentor in terms of either acting or music?
In terms of acting, I'd have to name both. To tell you the truth, Kitselis and my dad. Yeah, I learned a lot from both those guys.
Yeah.
In music, you know, I didn't really have a mentor. Obviously, you know, there was an ideal and an idol.
Right.
And that's the guy we were talking about, Buddy Rich, no question about it. I mean, Buddy Rich, you have to understand, there was, in my opinion, there was Buddy Rich, then there was nobody, and then there was everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's not like I could even ever aspire to be what he was, but he was a guy who could do the impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. What bands did you listen to? I mean, who are your favorite bands?
God, I don't know. You know, I think I like to listen to, what I like to listen to isn't necessarily what I enjoyed playing most. I enjoyed big band and swing, playing that the most.
Yeah.
Just dynamically, it made so much more sense. And it was really fun to deal with the highs and the lows. I listened to, you know, a lot of the stuff that you probably did, just a bunch of rock and roll growing up, the Beatles and Bob Dylan and Crosby, Stills and Nash and the Stones and Steely Dan and Jimi Hendrix and those guys. That's who I still listen to mostly. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a dinosaur stuck in the old days. No.
Let's see. Okay. Britt asks, what role did you want so badly that you'd do anything to get it, and what did you do to get it? There's going to be some story about pictures with animals.
No, the goats, no.
Okay, all right.
To tell you the truth, I think, and I already told the story.
Right.
You know, imagine killing the guy for the RoboCop part. I really, really, really wanted that part. And I just took myself to a very dark, negative, evil, adversarial place.
Yeah. And it worked so darn well.
And it worked beautifully. And we haven't heard of that other guy, have we?
No, we haven't.
No.
Who was that?
I have
other guy?
no idea.
You can't,
but
don't
he's
know.
probably
Okay.
saying, would you like fries with that?
Can I supersize that?
That's right.
Okay. Bob Alfeld, it looks like here, asks a question, and what he says here is, how much has Jordan science changed from the days of Quincy? And I'm not sure you're qualified to answer that question.
No, I'm not a real doctor,
Yes,
but I play one on TV.
TV. But let's take that question and go to this place. You know, how difficult is it sometimes to memorize that medical jargon that
It's a
you
big
just
pain in the
Oh,
ass.
yeah.
Which is why I write it on anything that I have.
Carry a clipboard.
Clipboard,
Yeah.
write it on the corpse's head. Excuse me, you don't mind if I just put this right there? They actually wanted us all to go to the LA County morgue, which is the biggest morgue and the busiest morgue in the world. And everyone went but me. And they all regret it. They say, you know, that smell, once it's on the hard drive, it's very bad.
Right. Formaldehyde.
I said, I'm going to pretend.
Yeah.
And there's a, technical advisor right here who's going to tell me how to really do it. So I'm going to pretend and not go to the morgue. I don't need to see, whoa, just everywhere you turn, horrors,
Yeah.
But to tell you the truth, the whole technical aspect has really, to answer the question, it's going to be boring. But yeah, they really do have some amazing ways to tell time of death and things like that. But I'm not going to, never mind.
As an actor, you think it's important to really understand what it is that you're saying when you've got that kind of jargon?
Yeah, but you can ask a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
The guy's standing there and you say, what does
There's
this
that,
mean?
yeah.
What is this drug? What is this disease?
Yeah.
Why do you have to go there and put yourself through the morgue and see like there's a pile of hands, I mean, right?
There's an image I'm going to have to work to get rid of tonight. Okay.
Why must one do that?
Yeah. It's called acting, right?
Well, yes, it's the Olivier line, right?
Yeah, okay. Ray asks, how was your experience working on the miniseries Stephen King's The Stand?
It was great. That was a ball. We had a lot of fun. That was 100 days, 8-hour miniseries, and first-time director who also wrote it. No. It was written by Stephen King. Never mind. Yeah, it was great.
Was he on set?
He was.
All the time?
Yeah. He was on set a lot.
And what's he like?
He's a big weirdo.
Yeah. He'd have to be. He would have to be.
Yeah, he's a big, strange guy. Kind of lumbering and, We were shooting in the Utah State Penitentiary. And we cleared out a whole wing of cells. But it was, it was like a working wing of a jail. So they just got rid of the prisoners, but all their stuff was still in there.
Ooh,
and all the prisoners. Stephen King is the most read author in the United States penal system.
Is that right?
Yeah. So they all left him notes.
Ooh.
Like bizarre. Yeah.
Maybe there will be a script out of that.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
And there was one guy who, walking around in the jumpsuit with the manacles and stuff, and Steve was coming this way, and the guy was there with a guard, and he whispered to Steve, and he said, "My life for you."
Ooh. Hey, that just gave me a chill. Yes.
Yeah. And it's hard to freak out Stephen King. You know how hard it is to creep that guy out?
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah. Is he kind of a quiet guy, or is he, Stephen? I mean, or is he?
He's sort of gregarious and sort of lumbering and just like a big, And he sort of talks like this.
This doesn't quite match up, does it?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
And he wants to be a guitar player, and he's the worst guitar player. He has a band, and they're really bad. Make my band look very good.
Your band is very good.
Thank you, baby.
And if you could just get rid of those pictures now, I'd really appreciate it. But David Wayne Campbell asks, how's your golf game?
Vastly improved, thank you.
Now, you
Thanks, David.
You run a celebrity tournament, don't you, or participate in?
Yeah, a few of them. Yeah, there are 3 or 4 tournaments. I did, LAPD for the first time this year. I got to play with the chief. That was cool.
Yeah.
Chief Bratton.
Yeah.
So studly. They told us, one of his staff came up and said, "Don't use the F word in front of the chief."
Really?
Said, okay. And I'm like, oh, for goodness sake. Oh, God bless it. When I hit a bad shot,
Yeah.
But he was cool, and I do LAPD. I always do the firefighters, the greatest guys in the world. There's a pediatric kidney disease tournament I just did yesterday. Yeah, there are a few really wonderful causes that I try to, do what I can for.
Yeah. It's important to give back, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, especially sick kids and firefighters and cops. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a bring down, isn't it?
Just like life, you know,
yes. Ebb and flow.
Yeah. We have a few minutes left, so what I'd like to do is just open it up to the members here. Who's got a burning question for Miguel? We got one over here. Go ahead. We'll repeat it for you. Go ahead.
I don't think anybody needs to repeat it. From the night show in New York, the comedy news program you were on and did so well with. This one is very much, to my way of thinking, almost a dramedy, in that you have a place where you can show your feelings or the feelings of the character, and at the same time you have a chance to also espouse a great deal of humor. How do you feel about the differences between that kind of acting?
Well, thank you for mentioning Late Line. That was a really good show that never had a chance. Al Franken conceived it. It was really, really smart. And that's the only half-hour show I've ever done. So, you know, I think the acting approach is identical, really. I'd say no difference, because so much of half-hour these days, with the fewest exceptions of really special writing, but so much of half-hour, I think, is just people pulling faces. And it drives me crazy. And that was what was so great about Late Line, was it wasn't people pulling faces. It was really good, solid, structurally sound writing. So you could really approach it as an actor, as opposed to, you know, a stand-up. You know what I mean? So to me, from my standpoint, the approach is identical.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. In the back?
You have been stereotyped as the tough guy, as you said, but tonight you are exhibiting, and have before, your humor so much. Have you thought of writing a character for yourself to actually get yourself before the public and more like you are tonight?
What a good idea. No. But it is a good idea. Thank you.
So you've never really written?
Yeah, I've written stuff, yeah. Not good stuff.
Maybe we'll do a live action version of Tripto the Acid
There's a
Dog.
very,
You
very,
know,
there's a very good script, if I may say so myself, that I wrote 13 years ago with a guy named Ed Neumeyer, who wrote RoboCop, called Hitman. And it was the blackest of black comedies. Just everybody is horrible, and it's about two hired killers are the heroes. And it was way before Pulp Fiction and all that stuff. And we were set up for a while, about 10 years ago, and nothing of it ever came of it. Now there's renewed interest in that, so we might be doing that as well.
Be great.
After all this time, yeah.
Very cool.
So it's good.
Good,
So
great.
we'll see.
Time for maybe one or two more questions. Anybody? There's one way in the back.
Talking about learning lines, I've heard two theories. One is that you just memorize, just go over and over, memorize by rote, then put the emotion in. And the other way, as you're learning the lines, put the emotion in. Which do you think is better?
Well, I'll just tell you what I do. I don't know if it's good or bad. I think before I memorize, it's important for me to understand the emotion that will be put in. You know, to really understand what I plan to do, what I want to do, what I want to put across with the scene. And then I do the legwork, you know, which is the memorization. But I think it's really important for me anyway to understand to realize I'm going from LA to Detroit, and understand that that's where I want to get to before I start doing the memorization. I think if I did it the other way, it would be a disaster, and I'd be saying, would you like fries with that?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Milo, go ahead.
As a drummer, I went back to my reservation and I studied snare drum first before I learned singing with the groups. And it was Buddy Rich that actually taught me how to get that feeling of the heart, the pounding of the skins. And will you get teeth, prosthetic teeth?
I probably won't get teeth. Because, you gotta you wanna kind of do the guy without being too much. I don't know. These are discussions we're gonna have to have. I don't know. I have no idea. He had big teeth.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I wanna
Yeah.
be a Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotta kind of figure that out.
You mentioned.
The big teeth don't really work with my look.
Well, maybe you get like medium. Well, no.
You think so? I don't know.
Yeah. You mentioned Manchurian Candidate a little while ago, and I just wanted to ask, what were the challenges of coming, of approaching a piece like that was done so well, back in, 1960, I think is when the first version was done.
I met with Jonathan Demme and the guy who adapted the screenplay, Dan Pine, who I'd worked with before. And the script was so good. It was such a fresh look. It wasn't just another recycled version. Let's update it and make it this war instead of that war, and change some of the names and make it Denzel Washington instead of Frank Sinatra. They really flipped it on its head and turned it around and did some really wonderfully inventive and imaginative things with it. So I think it's going to be a really good picture.
Yeah. It's an interesting story about, Manchurian Candidate never really got the kind of notice that it might have.
Not at the time.
Because
I think it did. I think its place in history is
now.
Yeah.
But it had to do with the Kennedy assassination, right?
Yeah.
That
Well, the same was true of Citizen Kane. It was never received the acclaim it should have in its own time.
Right.
But now in historical context, both those are some of the most important movies ever made.
Movie. Yeah. So this is a very different. It's not just
Entirely
a
different.
remake. It's a movie that
Really
will stand
turn it
on its own.
around, and Denzel was fabulous as he always is, and Meryl Streep was Meryl Streep.
Do you find these, actors to be? Are they giving? Are they generous? Did they work with you?
Depends.
On the day.
Next question.
Okay. Okay, let me just turn it around this way then. What does an actor do when they find themselves in a situation with a pretty big star who's not really giving them much or not being terribly supportive?
Get through the day.
Yeah. Just keep doing what you know to do.
Yeah, and hold your own. Hold your own. You got as much reason to be there as anybody else, as much as that guy.
Good advice. Good note to end upon. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.